Good evening, Debashish. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us.
My pleasure.
We will miss you on.
I'm very sorry.
On that
I
date.
should have been there with you this evening, but unfortunately, I'll be in Colombo, again addressing a group of friends just like you.
2 or 3 questions for you to answer, Debashish, specifically about SBI, of course. Right. The first question is, a lot of companies struggle with the issue of helping people learn. Organization like SBI, which is so scattered and employees all over the place. A lot of organizations are struggling with similar issues. How do they help people facilitate that? So, like your inputs on that.
How do we help people learn? I'll take you back to a small little quote from Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell once started an article with the sentence, "Why do people read?" The answer to that is most don't. So it's how do people learn? Most don't. Sometimes we have to push them. We have to find ways. The proof of the pudding, that they say, is in the eating, and it is very clear that State Bank of India, the training system is definitely the best as far as public sector banks in India go. Not among the best, the best. We have some satisfaction about it. But then it is the best because every minute we believe that we should not be resting on our oars, and we should try and engage with almost anybody who will help us to improve it. The only way to go upstream is carry on rowing. The moment you feel complacent, you finished, you go downstream. Practices which they use, which all of us can learn, and we are trying to emulate. Very important is for us to understand is that any organization's learning and development cannot take place unless the top management, that is the CEO of the company, the board, the managing directors, the presidents, the vice president, what have you, unless they're fully excited and committed to the training system. State Bank is justifiably, again as I say, not proud, but content that the kind of officers and executives that it produces have not only done the bank proud, but wherever they have gone, they have excelled. And persons trained by State Bank of India are in very high demand, not only in banks but in various other administrative positions. And many have gone on to head various things. That means that we must be doing something right. As for your query of this huge bank, how do we manage? It's not easy. 217,000 employees, 16,500 branches spread all over India and about 80 plus countries all over the world. And all these people, the learning and development has to take place. And you'll see that learning is always coupled with development. Learning is not a standalone thing, and development cannot take place without learning. And learning could be on the job as well as classroom or book learning, theoretical learning and practical learning. Now the theoretical learning part is the one which we are perhaps talking about when we talk about people all over the place. We do have 52 training institutions spread all over India. And in addition to that, we depute our people to all over the place, to the IIMs, to the XLRIs, to the various institutions, to Harvard, to Wharton. Every single of our top management team has been trained in some US or Australian or European university. I personally have been trained in Harvard. So we do take training very seriously. Exposure to the different training methods is taken very seriously. Um, as to how do we measure the ROI, that is a tough question. We have seen some of the international models for measuring ROI of training, and very frankly, if you really examine them, it may fail to satisfy you, because they will equate the amount spent on training to the growth, say, in profits or turnover. Whereas all of us know that many other factors come in between, and there is a huge tendency to try and mathematically find out what each dollar spending training is actually fetching me. Something I always say, that most of our work, especially banking, is both quantity and quality, and where quantity can be measured, quality can be felt. You cannot look at a painting and say, well, 2 more grams of red paint would have made this fetch another $10,000 at the auction, of 100,000 for that matter. So it is a bit nebulous, the exact measurement, but the recognition comes. The recognition comes through your interactions, the recognition comes through your reputation, the recognition comes through the results that you get, the recognition comes over a period of time to the kind of people you produce. Because ultimately, learning and development is about producing human capital. It is like this, that we have a chairman, and any of the 20 or 30 people in the top management are capable of becoming chairman of State Bank of India. So we do always have a very big pool of people who can take over the top positions, and our training system has grown. The top, what we call them, the ATIs, we have 5 ATIs. We started with 1, the Apex Training Institutes, and each Apex Training Institute is almost the equivalent of an university. And we have tried various things to really do this. And the one point that we have been just discussing, you and me, is how we have utilized technology to do this. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that technology is a great enabler, provided we use it properly. And for us, it has been a big boon. Today, we have the internet, where my 16,000 people are actually logging into my central pool of knowledge, of lessons. We have developed in-house more than 500 e-lessons with a pre-test and a post-test. We have, the State Bank has some 820 job descriptions. We have mapped these lessons with each job description. And if you are in an X job description, you are mandated to do so many e-lessons, a certain number of e-lessons. And at the end of the year, we have a system where these entire e-lessons are mapped onto your annual score. So if you have done your e-lessons, which have been mapped to you at the beginning of the year, a certain number of marks in your annual appraisal come straight from the system. For instance, for our senior management, that is a Deputy General Manager and upwards, which is Deputy General Manager, Chief General Manager and Deputy Managing Director. For them, a certain number of lessons are compulsory from Harvard management. This is a program, we have a joint collaboration with Harvard University, where we have taken a certain number of licenses for a certain fee, which is monitored by them, and we've mapped the Provident Fund numbers, which are unique identification numbers of State Bank employees, to them. and by using their provident fund numbers, they can gain access to the servers, and they have to do X number of lessons. The earlier HMM had 44 lessons. Of course, the new one, they have 40 lessons. They've rationalized a bit. I personally have completed all 44, but you have to do a certain number of lessons each time, and they take you through certain areas of behavior, of leadership, of marketing, and so many other areas. This is for the top management. For the people up to DGM, by the way, before I forget, whereas it is mandatory for the DGMs and above to do a certain number of lessons each year, any officer can access the lessons. And I have at this time somewhere around 1800 odd officers who have across the board in State Bank of India who have completed all 44 HMM lessons. Some statistics will perhaps help you to understand the e-lessons which are being done from all over the country. I had last year 90 lakh hits.
Thank you so much, Debashish.
My pleasure.
Thank you.